Hey there, it is week 15 of practicum. Um, this week we had our grade 10 period 1 class start off with shampooing. So what we did is we actually, had to start at the end, if you will, had to reverse engineer things and teach the kids how to do a head wrap so that they can leave the sink with a client and not worry about getting water sloshing all over the place. And then from there, we had them work in pairs in this whole shampooing and head wrap process. And what they did is they curly set the back of the mannequin on day one. On day two, they grabbed the same mannequin and misted the front down. And we had them work in pairs to blow dry with a round brush the front sections. And the nice thing about having them work in pairs is that they learn that the hair dryer should be pointing more towards them as opposed towards their partner, or in which case towards the root of the hair. They need to work with the direction of the hair. So it definitely resonates a little bit better when they're standing across from each other. And then on Wednesday, what we had them do is they were to kind of go to the sink with their partner. They each had a curly hair mannequin, and they worked on their own individual blow dry skills on these curly hair mannequins. And it really showcased whether they had their smoothing, their smoothing technique down. So that was great. And then Thursday was kind of like a preparation for a client day. They shampooed. We put them in groups of 3, and so we had one client, 2 stylists, and they kind of got ready and shampooed and blow dried a guest. So they're pretty excited about it. It's kind of funny because one of the students is like, "Well, miss, this isn't how I do it. This isn't how I wrap my hair in a towel." And I'm like, "No, but I promise you, you don't wrap your hair in a towel that's only this big, right?" So, she kind of rolled her eyes at me a little bit, but she understood the reason behind doing it a specific way. And with our period 2 grade 9s, they were kind of wrapping up with curling irons. So on Monday, we had them work in groups of 3 to curl a classmate to get the motion of the iron back in their hands. Tuesday, we did a test review because they had a practical test on Wednesday. So Tuesday, we actually wrote a note on the board and had them follow along. And I kind of, rather than myself just write it on the board, I said, what do you think the first thing is I'm looking for in this practical test? And kind of had them kind of delegate, which, the test was already prefabbed, but I had them really think about all the different components that they'd be getting marks for. So we broke that down for them and let them know at the end of the period. Those of you that have completed today's note, feel free to bring it in tomorrow. You can leave it on your station as a reminder. And, I really like that. We have a student that's really not quite strong in some of these practical skills, but, this particular student, she did really, really, really well on her practical test. And I even asked her, I said, you referenced your note a lot, didn't you? Because I know a lot of them, they brought it, but they didn't look at it. And this particular student, Sasha, she did exceptionally well. I think she got close to 90%, 86 maybe, but she did really, really, really well. I was really, really impressed with her. So, giving them that rundown the day before and, allowing them to bring that note in, it really helped. And so then Thursday with them, we did, groups of 3 again, and just to kind of get them ready for client day. They haven't had as many client days, so they were very excited, and they rocked it. They did super great. And then with our seniors, our period 3 class, we got into hair color. So on Monday, I had them split up into 2 groups. I had one group do textbook work, some of the theory necessary for color, and then I had the other half of the group do hands-on. And it was kind of nice. I had actually given them the choice. I said, hey guys, it's Monday. Is there anyone that wants to just kind of hang out and quietly do some textbook work? Is there somebody that wants to kind of get right into it? And they themselves kind of very equally split the class into two equal parts. It was great. I had a couple students that knew they would be missing Tuesday, so I gave them the hands-on on Monday with the promise that they completed the theory questions for homework, which they did. It was great. And gave them a demonstration of a root application on a mannequin. And we initially did it with purple shampoo, and that way we could really see without having anything too permanent. And we only did like the front quarter panel. And so I did a demonstration, gave them a bunch of pointers through the process, showed them how to cross-check their work, and had them go to it, and they were to apply their own quarter panel as well. I did make quite the mistake one day with the seniors, though. I allowed them to set up on the basins, like where our sinks have flip up stations to them, if you will. And I had them all have their own station, and and I was like, okay, we're gonna need those sinks to wash these mannequins out. So when they were completed their color process, I had them line up, like we have some manicure tables along the blackboard, and I had them put their mannequins up there, put their names on it, but it was one of those learn as you go circumstances. Miss Bolton kind of just allowed that to happen, and we kind of snickered about it, but definitely handled the situation well. And yeah, so we did theory and hands-on with purple shampoo on day 1 and day 2. We switched them. And on Wednesday, we had them actually apply a root application with a color. And once their color was on the root area, I went around and I passed 2 foils to each student and had them pop in a couple foils as like a low light while their color processed. And we only let them process for about 10 minutes, so they didn't get to oxidize entirely, but they really got a feel for the situation, and we had to bring them to the sinks to make sure everybody was washed out. We could get the classroom cleaned up in time. And yeah, they did really, really good. They definitely do an exceptional application. And then on Thursday, what we did is we had them retrieve their mannequins and go through and do a full, wet them down, blow dry them, and style them their choice so that they could take their photos of their work. And I didn't quite think it was going to take them the entire period, but because these particular mannequins that they colored all have quite short hair, it's more challenging because you're not as comfortable working with it. So we did in fact use the whole period to do so. There was even a couple students that didn't complete, but it was really cool to watch them kind of freestyle in terms of blow drying and styling some of the different techniques that they've learned over the last while. So really cool, kind of like a proud mom moment again, that one was setting curls on base and they're using different irons and different techniques, and it was really neat. You could tell that they were really proud, and myself and Ms. Bolton were both quite proud of them. And it's really setting in, that the little duckies are going to be flying off into their next semester. And, you teach them all these skills and you watch them put them pretty well all to use in one period. And then it's like, okay, they're going to be off on their own here soon. So, yeah, it was a really, really great week. I did stop by the inn that I did my SLP at and retrieved the homework I had asked the group members or housemates to complete. And I'd given them 2 assignments. One page was to kind of provide any type of feedback, things that they learned. If they had critiques or criticisms for me, I was open to hearing where they were coming from. And then a second page, I wanted them to list all their favorite things I wanted them to list all their housemates and at least one of their favorite things about said person. So it is my intention to rally their lists together and compile them for each individual housemate and, kind of list the things that other people see in them. And I'm going to put those in Christmas cards for them. And yeah, it was really sweet to read some of their reflections. A few of them had kind of alluded to, which is no surprise, that it was off to a rough start. I will most certainly agree with them on that. But overall, it was really nice reading through them because I know that there was a connection made and that they did appreciate it in the long run. So yeah. So anyways, good week. Very much looking forward to the holidays. My sister's coming to visit. And busy in the salon as per usual this time of year. So on that note, happy holidays. We'll see you next week.